Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to this very official production of motivation training, where I will be discussing the top 10 secrets of how to stay motivated. And if you follow these top 10 secrets, you will become king and queen of whatever country you choose, and $5 billion will automatically be deposited in a bank account of your choice, and you will get to just go on vacations the rest of your life. Which of these was not true? All of them so far. Check it out. Oh, I found something cool. You want to see this? So, if any of you follow my shoulder hurts today. If any of you follow my tattoo account, part of my story is that I've been a tattoo artist professionally for the last 10 years, and it's served me super well. And then, finding my purpose through that and what I love to do and all these things, and I still tattoo. It's super fun. I traveled, but I really traveled over the last 10 years, but I was always an artist. And I forget that this picture is here sometimes. This was done in 2003, so I was a junior in high school when I did this. But that's, see if you can see without the glare, but it's a colored pencil drawing of a motocross rider. Sorry, the glare is kind of crappy. There you go. That's a colored pencil of a motocross rider, Bubba Stewart, to be exact. If any of y'all are motocross fans, then you know the kid back in his heyday. But I always see that, which is funny that I thought to notice that now while I'm doing this training on motivation, because that's actually a huge motivator for me, is looking back at the work that I used to do and seeing what I'm capable of now, knowing that I started just like everybody else. And at one point I was 3 years old with a crayon in my hand, and I was scribbling on the back of church pews and making a mess and finger paints and the whole nine. And over the years it evolved, and you turn it into something. Hey, what do you know? Work hard and cool things happen. Kind of sweet. Real quick before I dive into motivation training, let's talk about what this is, and let's talk about what this is not, okay? I am not your life coach. I'm just not. I don't like life coaching. I'm only 30 years old, so at the end of the day, the heck do I know about life? I know a lot. I dress in a suit sometimes, and I'm very official when I want to be, and sometimes I comb my hair. That makes me experienced, apparently something like that. Oh, if you wear a nice watch and drive a nice car and stuff too, you know a lot about life. This is not like any sort of hoorah. I'm going to do a motivational training. This might be the most somber motivation training you've ever seen in your life. I'm going to do 0 things motivational during this training. I got no tricks. I got no lights. Believe it or not, there's no disco ball that drops from the ceiling, and there is no 60s, not 60s, what the heck am I talking about, 70s, 80s? Guys, I was born in 86. I don't even know when disco era was. Was that 70s? Yeah, anyways, no 70s cover band is going to come out of the closet and entertain us with motivational music, and it's just not going to happen. No amount of animals walking in single file line on their back hind legs is going to come out of anywhere with a sign for you saying you can do this. It's just not going to happen. Motivation training. What this is applicable steps to finding motivation for yourself in whatever area you need motivation in and or for. But I need to make it clear that you are in charge of what you do with this information. You're in charge of how well it works, basically. I'm going to give you some tools All right, if I hand you the shovel, it's your job to figure out whether you dig with it or not. You can't say the shovel doesn't work if you don't start digging. Okay. If I give you the backhoe, you might be able to dig bigger holes, but you got to figure out how to make it work. I'll show you how to make it work, but you got to get up there and turn it on and start digging the hole. All right, so don't get mad at me if the stuff I teach you in this doesn't, just don't bullshit yourself, okay? Don't bullshit you, don't bullshit me. Be real. Let's get motivated, okay? First things first. This might come as a shock. I know I just said first things first after I already said stuff. This might come as a shock, but, okay, there's a lot of information out there right now talking about motivation, how to motivate yourself, and how to find motivation and what motivates you. And here's your motivational quotes. And if you watch this movie every day for a year, you won't have to go to the gym at all. You'll just look at like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of the year. You will. I don't know. It's just there's a lot out there on the topic of motivation, but the one thing I need you to understand about the topic of motivation is that you have always been and will always be your greatest source of motivation. And I'll get into why and how, but it's you. That's you. You are the one who's most capable of motivating you. You're the one who's most capable of pushing yourself. A lot of people are looking for motivation, and a lot of motivation products and courses and trainings and books and all this stuff are sold because really it's not hard to exploit somebody's ability or disability to motivate themselves. Right? It's not hard if you learn how to do sales well enough. You can exploit anybody's weakness. You can exploit anybody's inability to motivate themselves. And so you just give them something, a big shiny rock that has blue paint on it, and say, "I'll sell you this for $100." And if you put it in your pocket every day, you will walk around and stay motivated for the rest of your life, and it will make you millions, and you will become rich and famous. All right. The person who doesn't know how to motivate themselves, who's always looking for a reason to find it, they're always looking for somebody else to do the hard work for them, they're going to buy that dumb blue rock. And they're going to think that it works, and they're going to put it in their pocket. And then they're going to be disappointed when it doesn't actually keep them motivated because it's just a dumb blue rock. Okay? So the first thing we have to do is recognize that I myself am responsible for my motivation. You are responsible for your motivation. Okay, so I need you to make that distinction. I am not here to motivate you and to keep you motivated and to stay your motivation. I'm here to help you uncover your own motivation. I'm here to help you, run you through some stuff, some information that can clarify the power of your motivation and where you can find it and how you can stay motivated, because there's nothing more effective, more dangerous, more powerful than somebody who's like purely motivated, wildly motivated. You can't get in anybody's. It's the man or the woman who is completely motivated. There's nothing you can do to stop them. There's nothing you can do to stop them. And a lot of you haven't gotten to where you want to be because you just aren't motivated to get there. Okay, so let's talk about what we got to do to find that kind of motivation. What if you didn't have to worry about being motivated? What if you just were motivated, right? What if you just had that kind of motivation all the time? What if you knew where to find it? What if you knew how to tap into it? Is that possible? Yes, it is. Let's talk about how to get it. Let's talk about the details. Let's talk about all that stuff. Hey, I need you to grab a pen and a paper. If you are somewhere right now where you can't grab a pen and a paper, you can watch the rest of this video, but I will encourage you, when you get home, it is very important to do these exercises. Okay, now this isn't homework. We're not writing essays. Well, depending on how much you want to write. But these are very powerful. And at the end of this video, it's going to be important that you have some things to look back on. There's a PDF for you to download if you want to, but I need you to write things out. So you can download that PDF that's below the video, or you can write things out. Either way, you are going to be writing, okay, through this video. First thing you need to write down is why you need motivation? Why do I need That's the first question. Why do I need motivation? Okay. Now, this can go a lot of different ways. And the more specific you can be, the better, because that'll help us define where to get more motivation. But if we can understand why we need motivation, then we can actually help ourselves get to where we want to be quicker, because then we can get the right kind of motivation as opposed to the wrong kind. Okay. So if I was to answer this question, why do I need motivation? I might say something like, I need motivation to stay focused on the hard work and the tasks that are required to get me to where I want to go. Where I want to be is to make a living and a life around helping people discover and uncover their purpose, and then helping them build a living and a life around their purpose. Right? So all that leads back to motivation. Why do I need to be motivated? Because my purpose, my calling in life is to help people discover their purpose. That's what I love to do. I'm crazy about it. It's fun for me. It's what I do. All right? If we're not clear about what we need motivation for, a lot of times it really turns into kind of like the hoorah stuff, the rah-rah YouTube kind of motivation, where we're just having a bad day and we go, oh, well, I'm going to watch this video of this dude working out. I'm going to watch this video of this lady that has 17 kids and she's super mom and runs a business by herself. Right? And we watch it, and at the end we go, yeah, I can go conquer the world. But we have nothing to go conquer because there's no direction after that, right? Which, if you haven't watched the purpose video, which I'm sure you haven't because you're watching this one first, but you're going to want to watch the purpose video because that talks a lot about that. But motivation is a directionary tool to get us to where we're going. Okay, it all plays in. All these topics tie in together. They're all necessary and they work best when combined with the other ones. So motivation, if I say, why do you need to be motivated? And you go, well, I just want to be motivated. I want to feel good. Cool, I get that. But that's all that's going to ever be for you, if that's all it ever is. So until you attach it to some specific reason, why do you need to be motivated? I need to be motivated so I can get up every morning and I can go to the gym so that I can lower my blood pressure, so that I can have a longer life, so I can be around for my kids. Right? That's a reason to stay motivated. That's a reason to be motivated. And it's going to make finding your motivation much easier if you know why you need to be motivated. Okay? So that's kind of the science behind that, the details behind that, why I need to be motivated. Okay, now that list can be as long as you want it to be. You can pause the video if you need to keep writing. It can be a one sentence thing, but just basically generally, why do I need to be motivated? Let's see. Okay, next list. Let's dive in. I want you to get a new piece of paper or the sheet. What was it? What makes you feel unmotivated? Sorry, I just kind of had a hard time reading that. I promise I can read. Okay, look, here's the deal. I can read. Fine. Thank you very much. One of the things, and I discussed this in the other videos as well, briefly, but we are kind of tuned by our society right now to create bad habits, or we're tuned to create zero habits, which leaves us susceptible to creating awful habits because we're not aware of the habits that we're creating. Do you follow that? Meaning, if I don't make any intention to build good habits, then my mind, whatever I feed it with, is subconsciously just going to create whatever habit it happens to create based on my behaviors, which leaves me open to creating a ton of bad habits. Okay? So part of this is recognizing what's unmotivating. Okay? So I want you to make a list of the things that unmotivate, demotivate. What's the word? Unmotivate, demotivate? I don't know. I don't care. What's the thing that makes you feel not motivated? All right. So I'll help you out here. For me, drinking makes me lethargic. Right? Drinking alcohol, drinking a lot of it especially, unmotivates me. Okay. Smoking cigarettes, unmotivating. Not getting enough sleep, unmotivating. Being around shitty people, unmotivating. Being around boring people, unmotivating. Not accomplishing any goals, very extremely unmotivating. Not celebrating my accomplishments, unmotivates me if I don't take time to celebrate myself. Okay, so go through the list. You get the idea. Anything that unmotivates you, that makes you feel not motivated. Okay, I want you to write those things down, and I want you to make the list. Okay, pause the video right now if you need to. Make that list as long as you need to. Okay, the next thing, what makes you feel motivated? What does motivate you? Okay, I happen to be a sucker for um, those cheesy workout videos that you see. It's just metal, and it's just a bunch of like buff dudes in the gyms like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's like, yeah, like I came from nothing, and it's just him just bench pressing and just going nuts, right? And I get to the end of that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm freaking jacked, man, like let's do this. And then I go and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I got a bum shoulder from baseball, and my back hurts from tattooing and all this stuff, so I just end up going to the gym and looking like a big fat old wuss. But those things motivate me, right? So that's something I keep around. We'll get to that in a minute, but just get that list going of what does motivate you, and be honest with yourself. What motivates you? Okay, it could be those Sarah McLachlan, those dumb puppy commercials that make me cry every time. That could be motivating for you. Maybe you want to work with animals, and that's what motivates you to go do that. I don't know. Write that shit down and be honest, and make that list as long as it needs to be. Okay. Pause the video. Go do that. Now that you have that done, okay, we've got the things that unmotivate. And I'm not talking about, when you made the list of things that unmotivate you, real quick, I'm not talking about the things that don't motivate you, right? Like carpet. Carpet doesn't motivate me, but it doesn't unmotivate me. You know what I mean? Like hardwood floors, right? Clouds don't necessarily motivate me, but they don't unmotivate me. I want you to list things, make sure that you have to understand the difference between the things that take your motivation away and the things that give you and provide you motivation. Okay? Now, I want you to go through the list of things that demotivate you. And this is about to get real, because you're going to be required to take some heavy action. And this is where it gets a little bit uncomfortable. And most of the time when we're building new habits, or when we're just breaking old habits, it requires action. There's certain steps we have to take, and there's certain work we have to put in to be able to set ourselves up and get ourselves back to square and back to a clean slate before we can start to build on top of that. Okay, so we're going to do two things right now. One, you are going to identify for yourself how you can eliminate the things that take your motivation away. Did you catch that? You're going to define for yourself. You're going to look at that list of things that take your motivation away, that demotivate you, and you're going to decide and put a plan together of how to get rid of those things, so that you no longer are losing your motivation to those things. Okay? If I'm motivated and I have one source of motivation and it feeds me constantly, but I have 10 sources, I have 10 ways that my motivation is lost. You see the problem? I'm working against myself. So I have to make some intentional effort to get rid of those things. So then once you get rid of the things that take your motivation away, it leaves you open to only have the things in your life that give you motivation. That's when things get really interesting and get really incredible. Okay? So that's what I want you to do next. Go through that list, things that take your motivation away. Figure out how you're going to get rid of those things. Okay? Next, one of the, I think, biggest misconceptions, and this is, I see this all the time. I've seen this for years. I haven't had a job in 10 years, something like that. Right? Years ago, I started working for myself. Those motocross pictures, I used to draw those when I was, that one was done when I was 17. I started doing those when I was 16. I would take them to the motocross races, and I'd get them signed by the riders, and I would sell them. Okay? Once I figured out that I could actually create business out of the passions and the talents and the gifts that I had, I was kind of hooked, right? It made it very difficult to work for somebody else. But I had to find a way to, lost my train of thought there for a second. I had to find a way to create a direction for myself. And in doing so, I had to focus on the things that were, I guess, what I wanted to do. I had to focus on the things that motivated me. I had to focus on the things that that were beneficial in my life. If I had this big picture, I had to go that way, basically. I just had to keep going that way. And right now on the internet, there is this huge, huge problem with people giving surface level advice. For example, the motivational quote bullshit pages, right? Even guys like, if you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Gary Vaynerchuk is really good for people who already know what direction they're going, but he's awful for people who have no idea what they want to do. He's awful for that because Gary Vaynerchuk will look you in the face and say, work harder, hustle, grind. You've got time to figure it out. You've got time to figure it out. And the people who don't know where they're going are going, yeah, but what do I do? All right, I get that I should be hustling, but hustling at what? Right? If this is you, put your email address in below and I will send you the purpose video. Okay, and you're going to want to watch that. But do you see the problem with what I'm saying? You've got a lot of people that are screaming, hey, hustle, hustle, hustle. You see it all day long, these luxury pages. There's so much information. This pissed me off for so long because people would say, you just need to work harder. And I go, yeah, but at what and on what? See what I'm saying? So I could be the most motivated individual you've ever met, but if I don't know what I'm being motivated for, then what's the point? So most of you right now that are seeking more motivation, a lot of times it's because you actually haven't picked a direction. Motivation is very difficult to find and keep and benefit from if you don't know what direction you're going, which means it's very crucial that you pick a direction, you find a purpose, and you go that way. Then motivation skyrockets you. That motivation, boom, off you go. Okay? If you don't have direction or purpose, put your email address in the thing below, and I'll email you the video on purpose. If you know your purpose, or if you have a direction, or if you know where you're going, okay? Motivation is only as good and effective as your confidence in the direction you're heading. Some people are going, man, I just don't feel motivated. I don't know what to do. Cool, where are you going? I don't know. Well, then what the heck? That's why you're unmotivated. You have no idea where you're going. See what I'm saying? So I could give you all the motivation in the world, the most motivating material in the world. I could hand it to you right now. I could say, hey, I'm going to give this to you for free. It's yours. Take it, have it, use it, and you'll be successful. And you'll find happiness and fulfillment and all these things in life. They're yours. But if you don't have a direction, it doesn't do you any good. Right? That would be like handing you a chainsaw to make lumber and then putting you in the middle of a desert and saying, cool, now you're equipped to cut down trees and make lumber out of those trees. And you're looking around just going, where's the tree at? Right? Some of you are getting motivation in areas you shouldn't be getting motivation in because your motivation isn't focused. So you're just getting anything that's motivating, that feels motivating, or that looks motivating, or that anybody tells you is motivating. And you're looking at it going, well, what the heck? I don't get it, man. I thought this was supposed to motivate me. I read the book everybody said, right? I read Gary Vee's book. I read Ty's book. I went through the programs. What the heck do I do? Why is this stuff not working? Right? I read Grant Cardone's book. All right, I'm doing all this stuff. Why isn't it working? First of all, do you have a direction, a purpose? Do you know where you're going? And second of all, are you getting the right motivation? And this is something that nobody is touching on right now. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about the right motivation. Everyone's saying get motivated to go out and do this stuff, but nobody's saying get motivated doing the right thing. And this is what causes the confusion in our culture when people can't decide on what to do, because then they just kind of wander around and they'll find anything that's motivating. So they watch a video on fitness and they go, that's what I want to do. They watch a video on business. They go, that's what I want to do. They watch a video on authors writing New York Times #1 best-selling books. Oh, that's what I want to do. Anything that's motivating suddenly catches the attention of anybody, right? It turns into this inspiration circus. And people suddenly feel motivated to get out there and do something, but they have no direction. So your motivation is only as good as your confidence in the direction you're going. Otherwise, your motivation is just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it might still be motivating, might still feel good on the inside, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really push you any closer because you actually have no idea where you're going, right? It doesn't matter where it's pushing you because you don't know where you're going, okay? So when you find your direction, you find your purpose, awesome. Then you're going to find motivation targeted around that, which leads us to our next thing, finding sources of motivation. Okay, you need to make a list. Okay, new page, and I want you to write down, based on your direction, where you're going. Now, if you don't know where you're going, um, you can still do this exercise. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult, which is ultimately is why I create this content, because I understand that it's very difficult sometimes to go, okay, well, what am I getting motivated for? That's why put in your, like I said, if you don't have a direction or a purpose, I'm not kidding, put your email address in below right now. Over the next couple of days, I'm going to send you that purpose video. Okay, it's crucial. You got to know where you're going. Okay, so let me talk to the people who, actually, anybody in general. Sources of motivation. If you know where you're going, I want you to find sources of motivation around that direction. Okay, I love the author, speaker, seminar, information marketer world. Love it. I think it's awesome. So I find motivation around and from those in that niche, in that marketplace. Okay, that's where I find a lot of mine. I also I find a lot of mine in Scripture, so the Bible, whatever your religion is, whatever your book is. Okay, find, again, but not just, and niche down. Okay, so specifically for those of you that read the Bible, you'll know how funny it is when I say I don't read like Lamentations, which is a book in the Bible, and it's a lot of like sad shit. So I don't read that for my motivation. I'll read things like Proverbs or Psalms. Okay, I'll find areas or read stories that are motivating to the right direction. There are some things in the Bible that I would go, well, this is kind of discouraging, right? So find the things that encourage you and motivate you in the direction you're wanting to go. Those of you that don't have direction, okay, there's a ton of information out there for you that you can find. Okay, there's a ton of information I can provide for you. If you're still not sure what to do or where to go, you can still figure that stuff out. But if you don't have that, okay, my recommendation would be just get motivated. Just find some motivating material, and you'll know it when you see it. You know what I mean? Go onto YouTube, whatever, and just start finding motivated material. I would rather you not have a direction but feel motivated to go do something than to not have a direction and feel depressed and by yourself and alone and just going, oh, life sucks. I don't know what I want to do. Right? At least go find some motivation somewhere while you figure out where you're going to go and what you're going to do. Okay? I don't think it's wasted energy. I definitely think there's a lot of benefit to just being motivated. Okay? But sources of motivation. Who's around you? Who can you get motivation from? Right? I have certain books that I read regularly every year. I have certain sources of materials, certain speakers, certain coaches whose material I consume on a regular basis to stay motivated, certain videos I watch constantly to stay motivated, certain verses I repeat regularly to stay motivated, certain activities that I do to stay motivated. I create content. Creating content like this for you, serving you, helping you, that motivates me. I love hearing from you how it helps you. That motivates me. I love doing this for people. It motivates me. But I also know it's my direction. That's where I'm going. So I can continue to create content like this because it motivates me. Okay? So when you put yourself out there to find the right motivation for yourself, don't open yourself up to just any motivation. Don't buy into just any hype. I say I'm not a hype guy. I'm not. I say I'm not a rah-rah guy. But there's certain motivational stuff that has to do with my direction that I just go, oh my gosh. I just go nuts. I go crazy. And I'm like, God, this is the best stuff ever. I'm going to light the world on fire. And I'm going to fly a rocket ship to the moon and build an empire and rule the universe kind of motivation. which I'm going to do. The plans are already in play. If you're lucky, I'll get you a seat on the spaceship. Find motivation that's relevant. Okay, a lot of us are wasting resources and time reading and listening and searching for motivation that doesn't actually move us to where we want to go. It distracts us. Okay, so I could watch Michael Phelps win a gold medal, right? I think he's up to 35 billion gold medals now. I think that's an accurate number. He's up to about 35 billion gold medals. Every time I watch him swim, it motivates me. But it doesn't motivate me to go start swimming, right? I'm never going to be a competitive swimmer. I don't care about swimming enough. I might swim for my health. I might swim at the gym. That's fun. I swim when I go to the lake or the river, recreationally. But it motivates me to watch him swim because I get to watch what his dedication and his work ethic has created for him. That excites me. That motivates me. But if I don't have a direction, then I go, oh, dang, man, I could probably be a swimmer. And then I start to think, now maybe you could. I don't know. Maybe that is your calling. Maybe that's what you missed. Maybe that's what you're supposed to be doing out there is professional swimming. Whatever. I don't know. But find motivation relevant to the direction that you're trying to go. Wherever it is you're trying to be there, find motivation that gets you and pushes you there, okay? Now, once you have your motivation, once you have your sources, it is imperative that you stay accountable to your motivations. If you have an affirmation that you tell yourself every morning to get you motivated when you get up, stay accountable to that. If you've got a book that you got to read once a month, stay accountable to that. If you've got something you've got to do, you got to make content, or you have to watch this video, or you have to create a video, or you have to have a conversation with somebody that's motivational to you, stay accountable to that. Excuse me. That was not a yawn, obviously. It's getting late here. Dang. Anyways, been doing this stuff all day. I love it though. So you got to stay accountable to that information. It's crucial. If not, it's going to the motivation just kind of dies off, and the fuse goes out without the dynamite ever blowing up. And we don't want the fuse to go out because the whole point of motivation is to push us further so that we can get to that point where we can enjoy the fireworks show. All right, but it's disappointing when the fuse doesn't work, and then we're just let down because we spent $30 on that firework, and then now it didn't work. Okay, better luck next year. We don't want a better luck next year life. We want to enjoy the show now. We want to push forward now. We want to motivate now. We want to do all these things now. Okay? So stay accountable to your motivation. Find motivation that pushes you towards your goals. Okay? Write down, like we said, recap, we're going to write down the things that demotivate us, and we're going to eliminate those. We're going to write down the things that already motivate us, the things that do motivate us, and we're going to take part in those. Do more of those things, whatever they are. Saturate yourself with those things. Find motivation that's in the direction you're going. Yada, yada, yada. I could repeat myself 100 times and I'll be honest, some of this, people just don't get this. Like, people don't understand the value of regular, consistent motivation. It's like eating every day, right? Our body's version of motivation is food, right? If we put food in our body keeps running the best it's supposed to. If we put crappy food in our body runs like shit. If we put the right food, healthy food, our body does what it's supposed to. And it stays healthy. Same thing with the motivation. If we put the wrong motivation in our world, our direction suffers, our purpose suffers, our goals suffer, our life suffers. But if we put the right motivation, the healthy motivation that's in the direction that we're trying to go, the motivation, and we keep it consistently, and we make it a daily thing, we make it something that we keep sacred. The motivation that comes into our world, we keep that sacred, knowing that it can either take us to where we want to go or it can push us farther away from it. Okay, very, very, very important. So, that kind of wraps up the motivation training. I hope this motivated you. I really hope you do. I'm sorry, like I said, I don't have any disco balls or hyper rah-rah stuff, but simply identifying what demotivates and motivates you can be a huge factor in finding motivation in your world. Consistent, regular motivation. It can be a huge factor, and it's something that can make a huge difference if you apply what we talked about. If you make these lists and you stick to them, okay? If you find your purpose, if you find that direction, then you stay accountable to it, okay? It's very encouraging to do these things. It's very encouraging when they all start to work and they all start to come together. It's like, oh, dang, this is awesome. And then suddenly we're not as dependent on outside sources as we thought we needed to be because we're functioning how we're supposed to. Okay. What I want you to do now, though, if you got value from this video, from this training, it's a quick little motivation training. We're at about a half hour. If you got value from this, I want you to let me know. Go over to Instagram. I want you to tell me. I want to know what you got from this. If you hated it, okay, keep it to yourself. I don't need the negativity. I don't need the shit. No, but for real, let me know what you think. Let me know what you got out of this. Let me know the value that you got. And then if you want the other videos, okay, there's 3 others that I have ready to send. Just let me know where to send them to you. Put your email address below, and I'll send those right off to you. They'll be in your inbox tomorrow, or at least one of them, and then you'll get one for the next 3 days, one a day for the next 3 days, also with action steps that you can take to apply those things. But I can't thank you enough for being here. The fact that you would give me your time. If you've made it this far, you're going to do great things. You really are. And I look forward to continuing to help you and to helping you grow and to assisting you with things that work. And I hope you find your purpose. I really do. I hope you find your purpose. I hope you find motivation and encouragement and accountability and all these things that this incredible life is made up of. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Let me know. Holler. Let's keep the conversation going over at Instagram. And other than that, you have a wonderful evening, depending on what time of day you're watching this, of course. If it's mid-afternoon, have a great lunch break. If it's morning, you enjoy the morning. And I will talk to you in the next video. See you guys.